This is Dave. He really enjoys going to the movies. He's always considerate to his fellow moviegoers. This fellow is disturbing everyone around him. Oh, look, Dave is shutting off his phone. Now is not the time for talking or texting. Oh, well, now look at that. There's a true movie-watching friend. Let's all be more like Dave.
This is M-Wire, Movie Week in Review. M-Wire is brought to you by Audible.com. Sign up today to get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/geekcastradio. Start today with a free 30-day trial with over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Don't forget to follow Audible on Twitter at audible_com. And now the latest and greatest in movies with M-Wire.
What is this?
We are having a private party celebrating the demise of the Musketeers. Go away.
Fellas, is there any way to greet our guests?
Gentlemen, don't be shy. Come in.
Your friends have been expecting you.
M-Wire Movie Week in Review is back and brand new with a brand new format and a whole new outlook on films. I am one of your hosts, TFG1Mike, and joining me is Doug Abel from Talking About My Generation.
Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you?
It's been a while.
Yeah. It's rusty.
That's
like cosmic rust all over the place.
Exactly.
So, M-Wire is back, and we're on our way to episode 150 overall. Over the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've had, over the last week or so, we've had episode 121, where Steve and I talked about Good Will Hunting. This episode, Doug and I are going to be talking about that classic Disney 1993 movie, the only one I personally think is the best Musketeer movie outside of Man in the Iron Mask, because the other ones in recent years that have been named the Three Musketeers just don't hold a candle to this, in my personal opinion.
I'll probably have to agree with you, but I haven't seen any of the others, so...
I've seen one, I think the 2013 one, whatever. But 1993's The Three Musketeers from Disney. Yay!
Yeah.
So usually what I usually do as the host is I ask the co-host, so when did you first see this film? And in Doug's case, in a lot of the M-Wire episodes he's been on, he's like, last week.
Today.
This film's been out for 22 years, folks, and he has never seen it until today.
I know.
Kidding me?
Well, okay.
Like,
in my defense,
this was Charlie Sheen before he went all tiger blood stupid.
I know. And the worst part is I kept seeing it, and I kept thinking about that sort of shit while he was going through it. Oh, yeah. I saw this today. I actually loaded it onto my iPad, and I watched it at work in between calls and on my lunch break. So,
Wow.
Yeah, it was definitely different from what I expected.
I, of course, have seen this movie plenty of times in the last 22 years.
All right. Feel bad enough.
You've been going to Comic-Con that long. I still can't believe you haven't seen this movie.
Well, I wanted to. Okay, to be honest, I know that it has been on Disney Channel a number of times. And it was like every time I wanted to sit down and watch it, it was always in the middle of the friggin' movie. And if I'm going to watch something like this, I kind of know the story. I want to watch it from the start to the end. I don't want to come in halfway and then go, I'll catch the other half later on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was kind of where I was going with it. I'm like, And so when I finally had a chance, when you're like, you got to watch this movie, I'm like, okay, sure.
I think I could be wrong about this, but I think I actually saw this when it came in theaters.
I know I wanted to. And
I don't remember if that's true or not. I'm not really sure. But, so anyway, to jump on the lights... oh, no, wait. I'm screwing shit up. So, I've seen the movie multiple times. Doug has only seen it once. We're going to take a small break. You're going to hear some audio from the film, and then we're going to get to the lights, camera, action after this.
Your manners have not improved yet. You're late.
Are you in a hurry to die?
Here come the grave diggers now.
Athos, you cannot fight this boy.
Why not?
I'm fighting him.
Not until 1 o'clock.
I have a duel with him, too.
Not until 2 o'clock.
Let's get on with it then. We don't want you to be late for your future engagements.
You're a musketeer? We're all musketeers?
You choose your opponents well. Or should I say foolishly?
I've been looking all over for you.
Now you found us. We have some business to attend to, unless, of course, you'd like to make it for a later date.
No, I'm a man of honor. But believe me when I say that killing you will bring me no pleasure. I'll be with you gentlemen in a moment.
Oh, he's a feisty little fellow.
Feisty indeed.
Only a fool would try and arrest us twice in one day.
You're under arrest.
A fool.
The boys have no interest in me. He's free to go. You come in peacefully and you intend to resist.
Oh, don't be so stupid. Of course we intend to resist. Just give us a moment, all right? 5 of them, 3 of us. Hardly seems fair.
Maybe we should give him a chance to surrender.
Excuse me, but there's 4 of us.
It's not your fight. You're not a musketeer.
I may not wear the tunic, but I believe I have the heart of a musketeer.
Warrior. Poet.
You got a name, boy?
D'Artagnan.
Athos, Porthos, and Aramis.
Hello.
Nice to meet you again.
Pleasure.
Everyone acquainted? Now, we are prepared to resist you.
All right, folks, lights, camera, action. This, as I said last episode with Steve Megatron, is a rapid-fire discussion over the theatrical release, DVD Blu-ray release, director of film, stars of film, box office performance, and critical reception. So this film was released to theaters November 12th, 1993. The director of the movie is, let's see here, Stephen Herrick. Other things that he has done include... 1986's Critters.
Oh, God.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh, okay, I'll give him that. That was okay.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Come on now, Mama Celeste, face up, face down. Come on.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it.
The Mighty Ducks,
Yeah.
1992. This, of course, in 93 and 95, he did Mr. Holland's Opus. He did the first live-action 101 Dalmatians in 96, Holy Man in 98, Life or Something Like It in 2002, Man of the House in 2005. More recently, 2013 he did Jinxed, and 2014 he did The Great Gilly Hopkins.
I haven't seen either one.
I haven't either. Let's just say the 80s and the 90s were better to Mr. Herrick than today is.
Yeah.
All right, so the stars of the film, we have... Let's see, who do we have here? Oh, yeah, we have Mo Vaughn. Oh, I'm sorry. What's his stupid name from... Damn it. The hell's his name from Major League? God damn it.
Jesus, why can't I remember this?
I know. Charlie Sheen is Aramis.
Yes.
We have Jack Bauer himself, Kiefer Sutherland as Athos. We have Chris O'Donnell. We have Robin here as D'Artagnan. This was actually 2 years before he was Robin. We have Oliver Platt as Porthos, Tim Curry as Cardinal Richelieu, Rebecca De Mornay as Milady de Winter, Gabrielle Anwar as Queen Anne, Michael Wincott as Captain Rochefort, Paul McGann as Gerard the Jusek, Julie Delpy as Constance. I guess she's done being an American werewolf in Paris. Yeah. Anyway. We have, who plays, did they not list the king in this? Oh well.
Wow.
Oh, Bob Anderson, uncredited as the king's fencing instructor.
Wow. Anyway.
Pretty much, I mean, you know, we've got, it's King Louis, Hugh O'Connor. That's who it is. This is essentially a who's who of Rebecca De Mornay, Tim Curry.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland, Chris O'Donnell. I mean, you know, Tim Curry alone will be here all night talking about him.
Oh, good God, yes.
You know, I mean, get on your knees and tell me you love me. I love you. Come on, it's Home Alone 2, man.
See, I keep thinking Tim Curry as the transsexual Transylvanian. I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
Oh, come on. You've never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah, he's the transsexual Transylvanian. Or transvestite Transylvanian, excuse me.
For a minute there, I thought you were going in a completely different direction and going to talk about Mr. Body and Clue.
No, he was the butler in Clue, wasn't he?
Yeah,
okay.
But he was also Mr. in the various endings, whatever. Anyway, we have, you know, all the for 1993. This is a star-studded cast.
Yeah, it is. I
mean, a lot of these people. You know, you got, like I said, Charlie Sheen before he got hopped up on Tiger Blood. In, you know, his filmography alone, I mean, the man has done some pretty cool stuff for films. He started out, his debut, according to Wikipedia, was as a boy under the lamppost in 1973's Badlands. Of course, he was Garth Volbeck in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I forgot about that.
He was in Wall Street, No Man's Land, 3 for the Road, Never on a Tuesday, 8 Men Out, Young Guns, Tales of Two Sisters, Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn. So I got the Vaughn thing right, at least from Major League.
Yeah.
So, 1990, he was in Navy SEALs, he was in The Rookie, he was in Hot Shots, of course. I like Charlie Sheen before he went nuts.
Oh, yeah.
After he went nuts is a little sketchy.
When he did the whole torpedo of truth bullshit, it was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. I think the film, like when it comes to his filmography, where I probably faltered or fell off of even watching any of his films is most likely, I hate to say this, but it was after Major League 2.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen any of the other films that he's done since then.
I saw The Arrival, which was horrible, and my sister at the time was really big into All Dogs Go to Heaven, so of course we had to sit through All Dogs Go to Heaven 2.
The first movie was bad enough, let alone they made a damn sequel.
Yeah, and the fact that they replaced Burt Reynolds' voice with Charlie Sheen as Charlie Barkin.
Yeah, that was just horrible. He's been in 3, 4, and 5 of the Scary Movie franchise. Apparently, he's TBA for Paranormal Activity Security Squad. What the hell? His television credits include, he debuted in 86 with Amazing Stories, Book 3. 1996, he was Ryan on Friends. He was in Sugar Hill. He was on Spin City as Charlie Crawford. Now, I liked him in that. He was in 2.5 Men for X number of seasons as Charlie Harper. And then the rest of the stuff is he's all himself for the most part. Yeah. Which really he's all himself in all the stuff.
Even this film to some extent.
No, not really, but okay. So apparently he reprises, and I don't know, folks. When it comes to 80s television, when it comes to networks and stuff doing, and I know this is a movie podcast, but we have to talk about this since it's his filmography here. When 80s television shows are being created, and I know everybody loves this show. I know my buddy Optobotomus loves this show. He knows Adam and whatever else, but I'm sorry. The Goldbergs is just not my kind of comedy, I guess. But apparently the reason why I bring this up is because he's reprising his role from Ferris Bueller in an episode of the Goldbergs. Yeah. Barry Goldberg's Day Off, so that's okay, whatever. Kiefer Sutherland has been in a number of things just so much stuff. All these guys. And I guess I should have said it to everybody. We're on the casting couch at this point, but
really
kind of going.
We're there.
Well, not exactly myself. As of this recording, I just finished a 2.5 hour other recording for something else, so it's late.
Yeah.
Basically, this movie, The Three Musketeers from Disney, is a loosely based transition off the original Dumas novel.
The Man in the Iron Mask by Alec Dumas.
Disney changed a bunch of stuff with it, but so for Kiefer Sutherland, jumping back on the casting couch here, I mean, this guy has done a lot of stuff.
Oh, you got Flatliners, A Few Good Men.
His Make Me Famous probably breakout role was 1986 in Stand By Me.
Okay.
That was his first U.S. film.
Yeah, for me, I remember seeing him as David in The Lost Boys. And I know that you don't like vampire films. He was great in that film. He was kind of like the main bad guy in a sense. And just everybody, like, you hated him, but you wanted to like him too because he was this lost boy. God, again, he's done Young Guns 2, Young Guns. So he was with Charlie Sheen again there.
Few Good Men.
Oh yeah. Let's see,
An Eye for an Eye.
Dark City was another one that I remember seeing him in, and that's. I know some people are like, I like
my favorite 90s comedy kind of film that he did was The Cowboy Way.
Oh God.
I love that movie. Truth or Consequences, you already mentioned Dark City, After Alice, Cowboy Up. He was in Phone Booth in 2003. Land Before Time 10. That's an animated series that did not need 10 movies.
No.
He was in the failed Marmaduke movie from 2010 as a voice. Television, he doesn't really have one of those breakout early roles like some other actors do. Like, he was in Brotherhood of Justice in 86. His debut was Amazing Stories in 85. But then, you get to 2001 to 2010, and we've got 24 with Jack Bauer.
Oh, yes. I just realized there is one movie I have to mention because I did not realize that it was him until I saw the credits. And it was Monsters vs. Aliens.
Yeah.
And he was General. And I was like, that's Kiefer Sutherland? Oh my God. General W.R. Monger.
Yep. And, obviously 24 came back with Redemption in 2008, and he had Touch on Fox in 2012 to 2013, then 24 Live Another Day last year. He's done 4 different video game roles. Obviously, one was as Jack Bauer in 24 The Game. The other one, he was in a Call of Duty game. The other two, he took over for David Hayter as Snake, a.k.a. Big Boss. Now, see, I wasn't sure at the time what was going on with the whole David Hayter, Kiefer Sutherland Snake thing. I thought it was just Hideo Kojima being like, "Oh, we don't want David Hayter anymore as as Solid Snake." But apparently, Kiefer's Snake is Big Boss and all that main character that Solid Snake used to go after. So I'm slightly okay with it. I still have not played Ground Zeroes or The Phantom Pain, but
from what I understand, you're not missing much.
So we have young Dick Grayson here as well. The crazy thing about Chris O'Donnell is that his debut was in Jack and Mike in '86. His real three Make Me Famous roles, four actually, game between 91 and 93. He was in Fried Green Tomatoes, School Ties, Scent of a Woman, The Three Musketeers, of course. Then he had Mad Love in 95 and Batman Forever and all that stuff. And
I don't think he's ever going to live down Robin, unfortunately.
This is why Superman works alone.
Exactly.
It's too bad Clooney had to say that line and not Kilmer. But anyway, he is currently one of the lead series regulars for NCIS Los Angeles, which I love him on that show. He did do a movie called The Bachelor before The Bachelor was an ABC show back in 1999 was that when The Bachelor happened for the film. But yeah, I mean, once he's kind of hit his stride with TV with NCIS Los Angeles, he doesn't have. It's ongoing currently, 2009 to present. The last thing he has here is Who Do You Think You Are from 2013.
Yeah. I
like Chris O'Donnell as an actor. I really do. I know people say what they will about Batman and Batman Forever. That's the one film out of the four that I defend the most because I really enjoy that film. Batman and Robin, the only thing out of that was Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl.
Would have been nice if they put nipples on her batsuit, but
yeah, I don't think Warner Brothers was going for that.
Damn.
Oliver Platt is kind of a mystery for me because this was my first exposure to him.
Really?
I've never seen Flatliners, I don't think. It's been years since I've seen Working Girl. I forgot he was in Beethoven. Forgot he was in Indecent Proposal. After Three Musketeers, he's in stuff like Time to Kill, Dangerous Beauty, Bulworth, Dr. Dolittle. I do remember him in that. Lake Placid and its various sequels. Outside of this movie, where I really loved him was in Bicentennial Man as Rupert Burns.
Oh, God, yes. I thought he was great there.
Yep.
Just, Lord knows, that's what makes it, it's what makes it you. You mean how yours is so bulbous?
Yeah.
I apologize.
No, I know. I absolutely love that movie because I love what Robin says. Do you have I don't know the exact line he says. He says something about an impact drill.
Yes.
And you hear nothing but sounds off, and the group is like, no.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hilarious. Oliver Platt's a really great actor. He is. He's had some interesting roles. He was in Casanova in 2005. He was in Love and Other Drugs. He was in Letters to Julia. He was the man in the black suit in X-Men First Class. But I love him as Porthos. I will always love him as Porthos.
I mean, that was probably one of his earlier things that I remember seeing him in. I did see Flatliners, so I remembered seeing him there. For me, his most memorable role that I've seen him in so far has been The Big C, where he plays as Laura Tunney's husband, and they're like estranged, and he's just like, you think that they're going to divorce, and they don't, and he doesn't know that she's got cancer for a while, and I thought it was really good, the role that he played there.
Yeah. I just love, like, compared to the drunk, overbearing kind of Porthos loner in Man in the Iron Mask, I love Oliver Platt's Porthos. He's like, the guards come in. Well, do you intend to resist? Don't be so stupid. Of course we intend to resist.
That, and then the bit with the Chinese guy with the two swords, and he's swiping them around. And he looks, dink, hits
dink.
Them.
Yeah,
that was great.
Tim Curry. What can be said about the Butler? Oh man, you already mentioned Rocky Horror. He is a big theater guy, obviously. He's done some amazing stuff in voice acting, though.
Oh God, yes. I didn't realize that he was. I mean, I know it now, obviously, but at the time when I first saw The Wild Thornberrys, I had no idea that he was the father. That he was Nigel running around there. And after seeing It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, I went, oh my God, it's Nigel. From that's where they got the character from. And then to hear him doing the voice, I'm going, yeah, I can hear that now.
He was Mal in Captain Planet.
Oh God, yes.
The computer.
He also was the voice of. There was a bad guy in. What was it? VR Troopers, I think it was. Oh God, I wish that show was just over and done with. It had never been made, but it was what it was, I guess.
He became the voice of Palpatine in Star Wars: The Clone Wars upon the death of Ian Abercrombie.
Yeah, that and Darth Sidious. Well, Palpatine.
Palpatine and Sidious are the same.
Yeah,
thing.
You're right.
For his actual filmography, though, I mean, I know the first thing I ever saw him in had to have been Clue.
Oh, see, for me, it was The Littlest Witch, I believe it was. It like way back when. It was an old TV movie that they did. God, I'm looking for it right now to see when it was.
I know what you're talking about. I just...
Yeah.
He did... he was in Scary Movie 2, doing a parody. Just the way his acting is, especially as Cardinal Richelieu, like this is the best villain guy ever.
Oh, yeah.
And sadly, now that Tony Jay has passed on, see, for the longest time, I forgot that Megabyte was Tony Jay. I always kept thinking, I don't know. I got Tony Jay and Tim Curry mixed up because Tim Curry was the villain of the animated Hex, whatever, in Fern Gully, in the very first Fern Gully movie. Oh, yeah. And I always got him and Megabyte mixed up with who played what voice, but with Tony Jay no longer with us, Tim Curry would be a perfect choice for Megabyte.
Yeah, he would. I know he's done... God, that seems to be his recurring theme, is that he seems to play a ton of villains, now that I think about it. Because
he's a great villain.
Well, one of my favorites. He was originally voicing in Peter Pan and the Pirates, I think it was, back on like Kids WB. He was the voice of Captain Hook. And then he went on to do, he was Pennywise in It, which everybody I know remembers. And then one of the best things I think that he did voice acting wise, he did a role for Double Fine Studios and Jack Black's video game Brutal Legend. And the game sucked. I'll be honest. It was really horrible, but for him to be voicing like the main bad guy, you just get these chills as you see this demonic thing with no eyes and just a mouth, and it looked like a talking tree trunk. and he's talking, and I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, I got him. He's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, moving on down the list here. We've got Rebecca De Mornay, I think. Oh, yeah. Okay. Knock it off.
Sorry.
Rebecca De Mornay, she has had a interesting career for me because, honestly, outside of this movie, I think the only other thing I had seen her in was The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
See, that was my first experience with Rebecca De Mornay. And I was kind of like, oh, God, she scares the hell out of me. And then I found out about Risky Business.
Yeah, good old Risky Business. She was actually, I don't know if it was the TV series or, no, it was a film. She was Beauty in Beauty and the Beast in 1987.
Yeah.
She played, let's see, what else has she done? Three Musketeers, Never Talk to Strangers, The Con, Night Ride Home, Thick as Thieves, A Girl Thing. Recently, she's got, oh yeah, wait, no way. That was, what's her name? Who the hell is Stifler's mom? Jennifer something or other.
Yeah, Jennifer.
God. Crap, what is her name? Anyway, apparently De Mornay played Rachel Finch in American Reunion.
Oh, God.
I don't have any clue, people. Jennifer Coolidge as Janine Stifler, that's what it was. So... De Mornay, she's like, the last thing she had was American Reunion. Then she had Collar in 2015. And then she's got, coming up next year, I Am Wraith. Her TV roles include starring or guest starring roles on Hawaii Five-0 a couple years ago, John from Cincinnati in 2007. She was on The Practice for 4 episodes. She was on ER for 5 episodes. I like her as an actress. She's all right.
I would say this, that she looked damn good in Three Musketeers.
Absolutely.
I saw it and I was like, oh my God. And especially in the contrast when the last thing I remember seeing her on TV wise was John from Cincinnati, and she's playing a best way to describe it would be like a weather-worn surfer mom.
Mm-hmm.
And you see her, and she's supposed to be like in her 50s, and you can kind of tell that she's been out in the sun a lot. She got exposure to it. She looked damn good, but you could see her age there. And I thought she was great there.
Yep, she was. She was. All right, so after that, we've got Julie Delpy, probably the last one we talk about from the cast, unless you have any other ones that you want to bring up, because we're pretty much all out of hit stars at this point. Julie Delpy, she was in King Lear. She's uncredited as Virginia in 1987. Let's say that Three Musketeers was her Make Me Famous debut, even though the role is pretty small for her in Three Musketeers, but that's pretty much the one film that I know her from. And then obviously I mentioned earlier she was Seraphine Pigot in An American Werewolf in Paris. Where I really came to enjoy her was the Sunset movies, which hopefully we will get to, the Sunrise Sunset movies. Hopefully we'll get to those here in M-Wire before episode 150. 1995 is before Sunrise with, she played Celine with Ethan Hawke. Before Sunset happened in 2004, and then before Midnight was just 2 years ago. Have you ever seen those movies?
No, I looking at the cover of the films, they look like I hate to say this, they look like chick flicks to me. And again, I'm judging just by the movie poster. So.
Right. It's okay if you start at the beginning, obviously, with Before Sunrise. It's basically about two people who are in Europe on this train thing, on this, traveling by train. The first movie is them, meeting up, talking, and they end up walking all over Vienna all night long. Hence why it says Before Sunrise.
Okay.
Once the next morning comes, it's basically oh my God, we spent one night together, we've fallen in love, blah, 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 blah. But there's I'm paraphrasing here, but it's just one of those things where that's the setup there. And then 10 years later, whatever it is, 9 years later, and Before Sunset, they kind of find each other again. And that kind of, it's not really a chick flick. It's more of a, because when you say chick flick, and when I hear chick flick normally, I'm thinking crap like The Sweetest Thing with Cameron Diaz. That's a chick flick.
Yeah.
Mirror
Has Two Faces.
Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yeah.
That kind of crap. But check those out. They're pretty good movies for the most part.
I have to. I'm sure the wife will convince me to sit down and watch them.
So getting into let's see here. We're going to jump or not jump the shark, or cut or not cut the film reel. I haven't decided how we're going to do that yet. I just figured, I know jump the shark is a TV term, but I figured, what the hell. So I remember when I first saw Three Musketeers, the way these three guys work together and the way that the story is written to where D'Artagnan has to meet up with them is just genius. I don't know if it was the Disney machine at the time working its magic, or how they rewrote the story to make it fit with these characters and these actors. It's just absolutely awesome. I love the French guy. D'Artagnan, I will defend my sisters. It's like, God.
Doesn't he show up like 3 times? I know he shows up at the beginning and at the end. I'm trying to think.
He shows up in the beginning, the middle, and the end because he alerts some of the guards, and he's like, after them.
That's right.
Or after him. But yeah, I love the way this story is structured because it's so easy to follow. You've got D'Artagnan on the path to, wanting to become a musketeer. He then goes and ends up getting into, 3 duels in one day. It's a pretty busy day. Meet me here at 12 noon. Meet me here at 1 o'clock. Meet me here at 2, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We eventually meet the Musketeers, and we have Cardinal Richelieu. Just the whole movie is just so enjoyable for me. I know some people are going to be saying, but what about, this, and what about that, and this isn't logical, and this isn't this, and I don't know, I just always really loved this movie. It's not one of those turn your brain off movies. It's just one of those sit back and just really enjoy it kind of movies.
I'm going to pull out probably the only thing that I kind of had an issue with was, and I know you're probably going to kill me for this, but the sword play. Okay, the sword fights. I'm watching it and I'm just kind of like, they're really, some of the intricate fencing that they're supposed to be doing, like that is not good fencing. And I say this only because I have fenced before. When I was in college, I used to fence. Right. It is completely different from what they were doing. The French style teaches where you fight more with a point, even if you are fighting with, a cutlass the way that they were. It's more of a point style weapon than an edge style weapon, and that's my niggling thing. I just watched it and I was kind of like,
Well, the only one that really, now that you mention it, the only one that really looks like he's faking his way through it is Aramis. Because guess what happened? They were all supposed to do 6 weeks of fencing and riding training. Everybody except Sheen did because he was filming Hot Shots Part 2. And, so... Yeah. The way I look at it now is, it's the fencing is kind of bad, but it was 1993. I mean...
Yeah, but when you look at... And I'm going to make a comparison. When you look at the fencing scene in The Princess Bride, and you look at what Carrie Elways and Mandy Patinkin did there, and you compare it to this.
Yeah, no, yeah. I get it. I get it. I understand that, and that's fine. I'm just saying, it's just... So, other than that, as watching this film for the first time, what is your overall take on it?
It wasn't bad. I did kind of go, wow, Disney put their name on this, partially because there was a lot more covert, and covert's really the wrong word, but subtle sexuality. And I always thought Disney as being this kind of pure PG type film. And to see Rebecca De Mornay's bosom popping out there, and the whole thing of Oliver Platt, Porthos teaching D'Artagnan
how to kiss.
Yeah, how to wench. The wenching. Yeah. And I was kind of like, wow, really? But there were other things which I saw when they were doing the fencing scenes, and you see them kill somebody. You never saw blood, so I was kind of like, okay, that's more along the lines of the Disney line. You see somebody fall off, but they actually did show, like, you see a guy falling off the castle, and you see the dead body down there. That was kind of off from Disney, because Disney would never usually show the dead body sitting there. You'd see, cut away, or they'd fall, and then that would be it.
Right, but this isn't solely a Disney film.
Yeah.
It is, but it isn't, because it's Disney and Caravan Pictures together.
Yeah.
Doing it. So, like, if this was so, and let's face it, folks, every time Simba lays down in the dust, it spells out sex. I don't care what anyone says. So,
SFX. Bullshit.
No, it's not
Bullshit.
SFX, it's SEX.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I can kind of understand that. In this film, it was... what the hell was it rated? Was it rated PG-13? I don't even know now.
I know, it's like... Let me see if we've got a rating on it here.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it just... Yeah, it didn't feel like a Disney film because... Disney has this way of making you realize that it's their film at the same time it's not, because, like I said, Caravan Pictures was a part of this, but also this was distributed by Buena Vista.
Yeah.
And Buena Vista is owned by Disney, I believe. I'm not looking that up, folks. So
Buena Vista Distribution is Disney's distribution arm.
Right. So the way I figure it is that the distribution people have some sort of something to do with it. I could be wrong there, but
Wow, the movie was a PG.
Was it really?
Yeah.
There was a lot of sex in this movie for it to be a PG.
Yeah. Yeah. But then again, it was French, so maybe they were letting it slide a little bit more because French aspects. Whatever.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I still love this movie though, because it is just so awesome.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it wasn't the same story as, the actual Three Musketeers book, but that's okay.
Could Disney actually have done that though? I mean,
probably not.
Yeah, see that, I'm not saying you're complaining here, but you're pointing out what they could and couldn't have done, and they didn't show blood or they had too much sex. If you look at the original Dumas story, I'm sure there was a hell of a lot more in there than what was actually in the final product.
Oh,
here.
Yeah. They toned some things down and brought some other things up, and they took literary license. And for that, for what I saw, I was okay with what it was. With what they changed. It's okay.
Yeah. What's your favorite scene out of the movie?
Oh, well, see, now you're asking me, you're putting me on a spot with
well, of course.
A couple of them. I almost want to say the whole swordsman play and Oliver Platt sitting there going, yeah. That was classic. I mean, it wasn't quite the Indiana Jones and whipping out the gun and shooting the swordsman, but it was pretty close.
Yeah. For me, my favorite scene, it probably is. It's probably the carriage scene. It's at least one of them that's at the top. But the carriage scene where he's like, Porthos, the brandy. Oh, what a waste.
Here, you can't have any. You're too young.
Yeah, you can't have any. It's that thing. It's the writing of this movie and the jokes. All the jokes that they gave all of them. You got Porthos, who is kind of this lovable character that always is making jokes. You've got Aramis, who is supposed to be this strong, silent type religious figure, and he still gets in a few sexual jokes here and there. You've got
You're married?
Athos. Yeah, you're married. It's my husband. Anyway,
let us pray.
You've got Athos with Kiefer Sutherland and just his stoic approach to it, and
oh yeah.
Even when another one of my favorite scenes is when Porthos crashes through the table in the bar scene, and Athos just punches him out.
Yes,
and he starts laughing. That's hilarious. What makes this movie believable as a Three Musketeers movie or a Four Musketeers movie, if you want to count D'Artagnan, is when they are all together, all on the same side, and fighting together. Like, I mentioned the carriage scene when they take the Cardinals. They essentially, Robin Hood and Little John it up, except they didn't use a, fake dress, fake boobs, and a fortune teller, whatever, Oda Lally and all that. But when they take the Cardinals carriage, and it's the next day after the barmaid scene, and D'Artagnan's like, oh, where's that whistling? What whistling? You don't hear it? Oh, I hear it too. Barmaid's kiss made him dizzy. No, it's not the cannonball.
That was great.
Oh my God. The one thing I'm very happy for in this movie that there is no forced love. Well, you get a love thing with D'Artagnan and Constance a little bit, but it's kind of like it's not even a will they, won't they. It's when they can eventually get together, because it's kind of like one of those first meeting kind of things, and then they don't see each other again until the end of the movie, and
there's hints of it throughout, but.
There is, yes, on her part and his part a little bit, but it's not like, I don't know. See, you got that, but there is no real, like, the one thing I think Disney and the casting and Caravan Pictures did well. You cast all the Musketeers, you cast the villains, you cast O'Donnell. There's no clear-cut top-billed star. There is, obviously there is when it comes to the stars, but out of the characters, Athos, Porthos, Aramis, and D'Artagnan, out of the four, there's no clear. They all have their own stories. Porthos is a drunkard who likes not necessarily to sleep around, but he likes to find barmaids. Athos is this guy who has this chip on his shoulder because of some murderous whore that he fell in love with so many years ago. D'Artagnan is, finding new love, and Aramis just likes sleeping with married women, apparently. It's kind of like Charlie Sheen's real life, probably. So it's just one of those things where I like that they did not force us into a love story, and I like that they really waited to use the theme song for the film until the end of the damn movie.
Thank God.
Because there is no clear-cut male and female love story that's at the forefront of the plot. There would be nowhere to put All for Love. As much as I like that song, there's no room for it within the film. As an end credit song, sure, great.
Yeah, even when you have like King Louis and the Queen, that was like you got the feeling like they were just kind of here, meet, and then get married, and they kind of.
That's the problem with arranged marriages and betrothments.
Yeah.
I don't know how much TV you actually watch, but I believe it's on the FYE network, which used to be the Biography network, which used to be whatever other network, but it's FYE now. Or FYI, I should say. There was a show on there last year called Arranged, where it's a reality show. It's one of those. It's kind of like that Married at First Sight show that they have.
Yeah, if it's reality shows, I
yeah, I know that's fine. But anyway, there's a show on the FYI network that's called Arranged, and it's all about the whole tradition of arranged marriages and betrothments and whatever else. And I just I'm sure that's a cultural thing that I'll never understand. But oh my god, that just Ugh. And the whole thing with Louis and Anne, it's like, it's so forced. That's one thing about this movie outside of the Musketeer stuff that I'll say. The story with the king and the queen, the quote unquote love or marriage or whatever you want to call it, it's so forced.
Oh yeah.
It feels like they are two old married people who don't sleep together, who sleep in separate bedrooms, who don't even talk to each other half the time. Because if Louis, even at his young age, if he was half paying attention to the way he should have been, Richelieu would have never snuck up on her in the bath scene.
Well, to be fair, again, it was an arranged marriage.
I know. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying if Louis as a character had his, priorities straight and was paying attention more,
Well, if you go with some of the rumors about the kings at that time, some of them were kind of, shall we say that they were happy,
loose,
lighten the loafers.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, but that may have been part of it that they were not really putting in there, but kind of, hinting at it very, very subtly.
Yeah. Overall, like I said, I dig this movie. I think this movie is pretty awesome. Now that you've pointed out some of the stuff that could have been better with it, let's get into the GCRN review, which is 0 to 5 stars. You can use 1.5, 2.5, whatever. For me, I don't want my overall enjoyment of the film to cloud it. So I do realize there are certain things in this movie that could be improved upon, like you said, the fencing, and now that I think about it, some of the things with the King Louis and Queen Anne. But overall, I got to give this film a 4 out of 5. I mean, I still laugh my ass off every time I watch it.
Yeah, I would probably say... Yeah, I'd probably go with 4 out of 5 as well. I mean, it's... Again, I'm willing to forgive certain things. Some of the glaring things, like the story obviously being different, I'm willing to forgive that because it was a good story for what they put together. And the jokes, yes, they kind of threw some more pop culture, modernized references in there, but overall it was still enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And all of those things are gonna, all of those movies from that era at this point are gonna be pop culture jokes, and I mean,
oh yeah,
we're gonna take a quick break. You're gonna hear some ads and some other stuff, and come back with final thoughts and what's gonna be coming up next on M-Wire. We'll be back after this.
Ooh. May I have a stance?
How's your head, D'Artagnan? I'm beginning to wish the Cardinal had chopped it off. Would you stop whistling, please?
I'm not whistling.
Well, somebody's whistling.
Barmaid's kiss left him dizzy.
I hear it too. Sounds like a cannonball.
Oh, I hate cannonballs.
Hello, geeks and geekettes! Looking for a podcast that covers a vast array of topics? Then check out Altered Geek Unleashed, where we discuss our thoughts on this week's geeky news, tech, gaming, television shows, movies, cartoons, comics, and more. So, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks. Every Friday on the Geekcast Radio Network.
By the power of Grayskull, I command the jaw bridge. Open!
The Powers of Grayskull series will cover every episode of all 4 Masters of the Universe cartoons. Join Optimus Solo and myself, TFG1Mike, as we tell tales of Eternia, discover the myths of Etheria, become masters in space, and finally Masters of Grayskull. We'll have a commentary on the Secret of the Sword film and a few other special episodes. You can find this 125 episode long podcast in iTunes and on the web at geekcastradio.com. By the power and honor of Grayskull, we all have the power.
Yeah, I hope I didn't miss anything exciting.
The evolution
is here.
This is the new.
The new.
The all-new.
New and improved.
This is the new Mark Who 42.
You have reached your destination.
With new reviews.
New up-to-the-minute news.
All new interviews.
And don't forget new co-host.
Bringing you the latest through the Hooniverse.
And beyond.
Join us at the new Mark Who 42 on the Geekcast Radio Network.
Mark Who 42.
The meaning of life.
Hello again, Cyclops.
All right, folks, it's time for That's a Wrap or Cut, Cut, Cut. I still haven't decided, and I really kind of don't want to decide because I kind of like the Rocky and Bullwinkle thing of it all.
Yeah, that works.
Would this be a film that you would rewatch every so often?
Every so often, yes. Like if it was on, if I happen to be flipping through channels and it was on, I'd probably sit down and watch it again just because it was enjoyable.
See, for me, until we were going to do this podcast for Movie Week in Review, I remembered the movie. I love the movie. Obviously, I remember the damn song. I had not actually seen, until I watched it like 3 weeks ago, I had not seen this movie in at least 10 years.
Wow.
I've never, in the last 10 years that I've had cable and DirecTV and whatever the hell else, I don't ever remember ever seeing this on anything, whether it's ABC with a fully edited version, whether it's ABC Family, I don't remember seeing this on TV that much at all in the last 10 years.
Well, I can see it being on some of the channels that my wife watches, partially because we don't get cable anymore. I went to Hulu and Netflix and
yeah.
What we get is over-the-air channels, and they have these channels like Laugh and I forget what they're called, but they're like Antenna TV, and they show older movies on there.
Yeah.
And lately they've been showing stuff with like Ben Stiller's early stuff, Scarlett Johansson's early stuff.
If you can throw a wrench, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Oh, we're talking about even before that.
I know, yeah.
Stuff like that. And this kind of movie would be on that kind of channel, which it's not anything bad. It's just that, they're covering those older films because that's what they can get now.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a movie I can watch every so often. If I need a good laugh with these characters, yeah, I will most definitely turn to this movie.
Oh, yeah.
So it's highly recommended for me, obviously. We both gave it 4 out of 5 or 4.5 out of 5, whatever. Coming up next on M-Wire, Leisure Rules, folks. That's all I'm going to say. Leisure Rules. If you don't... life moves pretty fast. If you don't slow down and, stay a while, it'll blow right by you.
Oh, really?
Oh, God.
I know what it is, but I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, I know. If you guys haven't figured it out by now, I'll just do this. Kennedy, swing batter. If you guys don't know what it is by now, then you'll never know.
What's the score? Nothing. Who's winning? No. The Bears.
My best friend's girlfriend's dog's sister's boyfriend said...
Yes.
Oh, God. All right, folks. Keep those film reels rolling. We will catch you next week.
When it's love you give, I'll be a man of good faith. And in love you live, I'll make a stand, I won't break. I'll be the rock you can build on. Be there when you're old, to have and to hold. When there's love inside, I swear I'll always be strong. Then there's a reason why I'll prove to you we belong. I'll be the wall that protects you from the wind and the rain, from the hurt and the pain. Yeah, let's make it all for one, all for love. Let the one you hold be the one you want, the one you need. 'Cause when it's all for one, it's one for all. When there's someone that you know, then just let your feelings show. Make it all for one and all for love. When it's love you make, I'll be a fire in your night. Then it's love you take, I will defend, I will fight. I'll be there when you need me. When honor's at stake, this vow I would make. Yeah, that is all for one, all for love. All for love. Let the one you hold be the one you want, the one you need. 'Cause when it's all for one, it's one for all. When there's someone that you know, then just let your feelings show. Make it all for one, all for love. Don't lay our love to rest, 'cause we could stand up to the test. We got everything and more than we had planned. More than the rivers that run the land. We got it all in our hands. Now it's all for one and all for love. Let the one you hold be the one you want, the one you need. 'Cause when it's all for one, it's one for all. When there's someone that you know, then just let your feelings show. When there's someone that you want, when there's someone that you need, let's make it all for one and all for love.
You've just listened to Movie Week in Review on GeekCastRadio.com. If you would like to leave feedback on the show, there are many ways to do so. First, you can visit the website, GeekCastRadio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts.